Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this weekend. What a week it has been. Holy banana bread. We have seen some serious red on the charts this week. We've got a lot of fear going on. The bears are absolutely at the gate. And well, then we had, of course, this weekend. Anybody watching crypto yesterday probably saw, you probably saw a drop of, of a lifetime. Well, not of a lifetime. We've seen much worse, but we've had a lot of stuff going on. A lot of it having to do, of course, with all of the uncertainty over in the Middle East. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the other news. We're going to talk about what we can expect tomorrow. I've heard everybody saying that tomorrow could look like the COVID drop. I'm kind of disagree. I don't think it's going to be that bad, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that tonight. All right. Look at this. I do not even have the right screen up. Holy banana bread. That's fine. Before we get to the news, let's leave me big for a little bit while we just get through the first few little comments we have here. Jonathan was here first. Am I late? No, you were the opposite of late. Very, very early at 2:16 p.m. We get Jordan in the house with a happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday, Jordan. And Jonathan's back with a hello. Yeah, absolutely. Bismarcky's in the house. Happy Sunday, everybody. And we got Mary in the house. And Terry on the East Coast. Holy banana bread. Mega rain week they had there. But now it looks like it's a sunny day now. So there we go. Perfect. It's a good day to have a stream. Bismarcky is saying, if the market drops it that much, I'll be buying for sure. I do think we're going to see some red tomorrow. If tomorrow was not a red day, I would be surprised. But we're not going to see. When you look at the COVID, like you look at any chart, it doesn't matter what the chart is. You look at any chart, you can see that COVID drop. It's that pronounced. Just look. You look at the big V. You're like, oh yeah, there's March 2022. Very, very simple. So tomorrow is not going to be that bad. It will absolutely not be. And I'll tell you, we'll get into that. Don't worry about it. Change Bears in the house with a hello there and hello from Jerry. Vinit's in the house. Hi, everyone. Still very sick. Tested negative, but tried a bit of everything to recover. No luck yet. Well, good luck feeling better. Hopefully you won't be ill for too much longer. I'm hoping not. Keith here, left the cold weather in Moncton. Moncton's got the cold weather, but the rest of the Maritimes apparently have the sunshine, according to Terry. So we'll go with that. And Vic is relaxing in a Canadian Rockies t-shirt. All right, awesome. All right, give me a second here. I'm just going to bring up our. There we go. Put me in the right spot. Bang. And we'll bring up our header. We're not going to jump into the news right away, but, everybody likes to see what I've done with the bear and the bull this week. And right now they're starting their spring farming in the Rockies from the looks of it. So they may be very close to you, Vic, looking for you with that Canadian Rockies t-shirt. So we'll have to see. And you're about to hit the road soon. Oh dear. You never did answer that question. Are you doing the Uber thing? Is that what you're doing? Because you're on the road so much. And Vinit's also about to hit the road. So there we go. I guess everybody's going to be hitting the road today at one point or another. Prairie is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. And Vic says, will oil hit $103 a barrel because of Middle East conflict? That's a good question. I think it's going to do well. I think it will do well. There's a couple of things let's get into it. We'll get into it right now. So what happened on the weekend, of course, Iran launched a whole bunch of drones and some missiles well, I was going to say Iraq, but at Israel, basically as a retaliation for one of their bases being damaged. So that's cool. That's what they did. Now, this is a big thing. A couple of things. First of all, the fact that almost nothing got through. I think one missile made it through, and it didn't really do a lot of damage. So 99.9% of everything Israel threw Iran threw at Israel, it didn't make it through. The Iron Dome was successful. Also, there were American and British fighters up there as well, shooting some of them down. So, with an assist from the U.S. and Britain, nothing really got through. Now, Iran did come out and say, I believe through X, that as far as they were concerned, this was it. That was, they just needed to get this out and they would be done. It would be over. Israel's not going to let this stand. Israel will retaliate, and they have said as much. So there's going to be, it's not over. And then depending on what Iran does in response to Israel's retaliation, we'll have to take it from there. Now, I saw a lot of different YouTube. I think Kevin was calling it World War III. It's not World War III. The fact that really nothing too bad happened. Now, here's the thing. This is the interesting thing when we look at the market. So when people are saying, how is this going to affect the market? How bad is this going to be? It's not going to be good. We're going to have a red day. But the market is getting used to all of this instability. There has been so much instability in the Mideast this year. A lot of it's already priced into the market. There's been a lot of instability ever since Russia went into Ukraine. So we're very used to this world being a little bit on the crazy banana bread side, because that's where it's at. It's crazy. We're used to it. So a lot of that is absolutely priced into the market. Not to say that there's going to be people who panic. There will be those people who panic, and there will be people who are like, I have got to sell everything because everything is going down, and that will, of course, push things down a little bit. So we're going to see a drop. It's still going to be a good entry point day. Like when things drop, I think, depending on how much things drop, this is that thing, how you've been waiting, like, okay, I'm going to buy stock A if it gets down to this price. Well, watch it tomorrow. It might. You may even want to put in like like some limit buys. So if it does get down to where you're looking, even if just briefly, you might be able to get some really good deals. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is don't panic. Don't become one of these people who's like going, oh my God, I watched Meet Kevin. He said that it was going to be as bad as COVID. I'm going to get out before it gets there. Maybe I'll buy it back when it gets really, really way far down. But there's a good chance if you do that, you may be looking at losing money. So you want to you don't want to get into the whole fear, uncertainty, doubt. Look at tomorrow as more of a buying opportunity, not a I've got to grab my butt for all it's worth type event, because it's not really there. The market has priced a lot in. Even with Bitcoin and the big drop that it experienced yesterday, it has recovered. It has recovered a little bit. It's definitely not back. And right now, it's probably going to consolidate where it's at for now as we head into the halving. So I don't think it's anything to really be too concerned about. But like I said, you'll see a red day definitely tomorrow. Tuesday might be red as well, but by Wednesday, and this all depends though. Now, if of course we have Israel's retaliation, let's say that happened on Tuesday or Wednesday, that'll probably keep the market a little bit red too. Now, the other factor, and this is going back, like if you look at Friday, obviously what happened this weekend had nothing to do with what happened on Friday. On Friday, we had two events. One of them was the U.S. CPI and all of the fear about inflation. And we're going to talk about that. That's our first news story. We'll be getting to that pretty soon. So we had that happening. And in addition, of course, the uncertainty, because the U.S. at that point had said something's going to happen, and and for those of you who think that they were the U.S. was sort of like psychics or not, Iran did actually reach out and tell a lot of their neighbors 24 hours in advance that they were going to do what they did. So it's not like everybody sort of had a crystal ball on this one. A lot of them knew because Iran told them, so they knew it was coming. Just something to keep in mind. All right, let's get caught up really quickly because you guys are hitting the comments like crazy. We've got Bleak in the house with a hey hey. Jerry says, just finished my taxes, getting a nice return this year. Congratulations, Jerry. That's awesome. Gotta love a good return. Vineet says, no, I'm not. I was laughing because of Vic always driving. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Vic says, market always knows what's going on. How serious things are. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the market is a reflection of our psychology. So, how people are feeling determines whether they're buying, selling, or what they're doing on the market. So that's kind of what you're seeing. So when the world is on the brink of something bad, the market does tend to sometimes reflect that, and sometimes big time. But anyway, Vic said Iran hit Saudi and Jordan. Oh, are they? Did they actually do that? See, I haven't actually looked at the news this afternoon, but or is that just some that one shots that were meant to go to Israel? But yeah, no matter what, I will say this: Iran really didn't. I don't know if it was on purpose, but Iran really did not come out swinging hard. It looked impressive when you're saying, "Oh yeah, there's more than 100 drones coming," and but it wasn't that. It wasn't a hard hit. Vic says men have bad aim. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Jay's in the house. Hello, Jay. Good to see you with a good hi, everyone. And Vic says, happy Bank of Canada held rates so my cash earns some interest. Yes, we're going to talk about that as well. We get a lot to talk about, a lot of stuff in the news. So we'll get to that in a moment. We have to, I can't get to that without saying, hey, Banana Bread Crew from JJ. And let's see, Candace, explain why TD dropped 0.97% on the TSX, but negative 1.67% on the New York Stock Exchange. Part of it obviously is currency conversion. That has to come into effect. So if the US dollar, for example, is going larger, but the Canadian dollar is falling, you could actually see a bigger drop on there. I don't know if that's 100% why, but that is one reason that you do see a difference between if you have a stock that has both of them. Let's see. JJ, whoops. There we go. JJ said, got 4K already for deployment tomorrow. There we go. Smart. Very smart. There will be some deals. There will absolutely be some deals. Change to spare said, so I shouldn't sell everything, grab my go bag and hide in the mountains, Red Dawn style. No, that's probably, I mean, if you really want to go and, live the Grizzly Adams life, feel free, but I really don't think you need to. We're not, it's not like the nukes are going to start flying this week or anything or even this month. Vic says, in my investment journal, I made a note of October 2023 dip, but didn't pull the trigger and missed this run. Hit it big in March 2020, but patiently waiting a la Munger or Philtown style. Well, good, Vic. Tomorrow is that day. Tomorrow is that day you're going to get some good deals. So that's going to be a fantastic. Lisa's in the house with a hi, everyone. And JJ said, I submitted my taxes yesterday and I owe money to Quebec. Oh dear. Yeah, that's never good. That's never good. Hopefully you don't owe a ton of money to Quebec, but hey, the next time you guys are driving down the road in Quebec and that pothole is no longer there, thank JJ. He paid to fix that. So, one nice little thing. All right. Just give me 1 second. I'm pulling up one thing here. Actually, I pulled up the wrong thing. Just going to pull up the news and we'll get into that first our first, I was going to say gory, our first story. It's really not that gory, but well, maybe it could be. It could be. And quickly, JJ said a good chunk. Absolutely. All right. Now after we do the story, we will start off with a Vic. All right, let's pull it up. All right. So the US inflation report came out. So the CPI. So the forecast was 0.3% for the CPI, and it actually came in hot, came in at 0.4%. Their year over year came in at 3.5%. They were expecting it to be at 3.4%. So inflation's still hot. When we look at the core also came in hot. They were expecting 0.3. It came in at 0.4. The year over year, they were looking for 3.7. They got 3.8%. So inflation not doing what the Fed would like to see. Definitely not. And of course, let's be honest. When Papa Powell said, "Oh yeah, it was just seasonal. That's why those last two were up. Don't worry about it." We all knew. Yeah, we all knew he was wrong. Everybody knew. Everybody kind of could see this coming. It's not a big thing. I mean, we knew it was coming. Kind of like when Papa Powell said that, "Oh, you know what? You know, inflation, it's transitory. It's not worry about it." Yeah, exactly. Same kind of idea. So they got a little bit of a problem here. So this is kind of an interesting thing. So this is the third month in a row where we've had sticky inflation. And what's really interesting is the federal governor, Michelle Bowman, came out and really stoked some people. And this is part of the reason the market went crazy on Friday. So this is what she said. I will quote this quote word for word. She said, "While it is not my baseline outlook, I continue to see the risk that at a future meeting, we may need to increase the policy rate further should progress on inflation stall or even reverse." So that was that definitely made people think, what? Rates going up? We're looking for a rate cut, not a rate rise. So keep in mind, she just wants to have it on the table. That's all this is. This is kind of posturing. So there's no real intention to raise the rate further in the US. But what we could see, and I think a lot from the federal speech, from the CPI data, it's very clear that we're not going to get a rate cut soon. So July is pretty much off the table in the US. Some people even think September might be pushing it. I've heard some people say that we're probably looking at after the election. I'm not quite thinking that. I'm actually thinking October. I'm thinking October now for the US. And we got a lot more data points coming out between now and then. So we'll have to take it as it goes and sort of look and see exactly what is what's going to happen. And of course, like I said, the market did have a literal loss of their mind moment on Friday. So that was kind of interesting. So this is another thing too, you have to keep into consideration when you're looking at Monday. So Monday we have another sort of, it's not technical, I wouldn't call it a black swan event. It's black swan adjacent, because we knew that it was coming. And I think the market knew it was coming. So when you look at the overreaction on Friday that the market had to the red, so normally on Monday, we would have recovered a lot of that. But I think that's going to sort of help prevent us from going too much deeper into the red. We'll go deeper into the red, but that's why we're not going to get, like, as somebody like me, Kevin, says, "Oh, it's going to be a COVID type day." Nope, not going to be that bad. So, we'll see. We'll have to see. If I'm wrong, let me know. If I'm wrong, definitely let me know. If we did have a COVID day and you're sitting on cash, holy cow, you could make a killing. That would be fantastic. So I'll certainly say that. Now there was one saving grace. Now we also had the PPI that came out, and the PPI rose by 0.2% in March when they actually expected it to rise by 0.3%. So it came in a little bit on the softer side, which is great because a lot of times the PPI shows us what's coming down. Because if you look at your PPI, that's what the wholesalers are paying. So those are the prices that haven't yet been passed on to, to the consumer. So that's a good news. Now, one thing though that is a little concerning with the PPI is their year over year. It has risen by 2.1%, and it's a good indication that there's still a lot of pressure out there that's keeping inflation elevated. So we're going to have to watch this. I have a feeling their next CPI could be sticky as well, but maybe not quite as bad as this one. But I think it might still be just a little sticky. So we'll have to sort of see how that goes. All right. All right. Back to Vic. Vic says the RBC charges me interest if I sell my cash ETFs and buy before things settle. Oh, really? Yikes. I do not like that at all, Vic. Yikes. Sometimes I see things like this and I'm like, you got to get to a bank that's not going to do that to you. But wow, yeah, that's never good. Right. Okay, and Vic is starting his driving, but not smoking. Good. You still kept that up. I'm actually very proud of you, Vic. I'm very, very proud. You've done, I mean, it's now more than 3 months, so it must be getting easier for you. King of Day is in the house with a hello. Did I miss anything? Only 21 minutes. 21 minutes you missed, but you can always catch that on the replay. G Mark saying no rate cuts. Inflation is not under control. Stagflation already in Canada. Holy banana bread. For some reason, I felt like saying cats and dogs living together, right out of Ghostbusters. But, sometimes. JJ is, just keep buying. Things are going to look good on the other side. And these opportunities, while things are kind of messing up, it's a great opportunity to really start getting some deals. There's no way around that. 9 says, I'm 50% cash in my accounts for the next big downturn. So there you go. You may want to think about DCAing a little bit in there tomorrow, 9. But, or if you think it's going to get worse, there's always that. There's always that as well. Candace, do we get a chance to do another extra live stream this week? Yeah, sure. I'll do that. 2 channel memberships, and we'll do a market close tomorrow. There we go. So that's yeah. So yeah. There we go. So yeah, it's up to you guys if through by the end of the stream, if 2 channel memberships pop up, brand new ones, we'll be here tomorrow. We'll do that. We'll do that market close, and tomorrow could be a very fun market close. That's for sure. All right, our next story. Let us let's change our picture here. So this one I loved. There's no way that AI is going to make this picture for me. I had to put J-Pal. I had to put Tiff Macklem in this picture of a closed restaurant. So up here in Canada, the Bank of Canada, no surprise at all, they held their key interest rate at 5%. So this is the 6th consecutive month that they have done this. We all knew this was coming, not even a question. Now they, through their speeches and everything else, they're basically saying, and they're maintaining that inflation is still too high for them, and they feel that there are risks to cutting too soon. Absolutely, not a problem. They need to see more consistency in the cooling numbers. So as you can know, up here in Canada, our CPIs have been looking better. But keep in mind, we have this other thing too that we're fighting against too, with oil rising. And when we have the Middle East tensions getting there, if it pushes oil up even higher, that could start to filter into our CPIs a little bit, pushing things up. It won't hurt core because we remove the price of oil out of that. But even then, everything in core at somewhere in the whole transportation of it or whatever, it all ends up getting affected anyway. So we could see some stickier CPIs down the line, but it's hard to say. We'll wait and we'll see. So yeah, now most economists right now are still expecting a rate cut in June, and that's kind of where I've been. Although I'll tell you, I'm wavering a little bit. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But the central bank, so the Bank of Canada, they have actually said that they want to be careful not to suggest that any cut is a guarantee, and they're not guaranteeing that there's going to be one. They're being very, very, very careful. Now, one of those things too, and I've talked as well about if we cut and the U.S. hasn't cut, we could look at some issues with imports. There's also the possibility as well that if we're being aggressive with our rate cutting, it could devalue the loonie against the U.S. dollar. And right now, we're kind of in that zone where we want to be. So that's kind of interesting. Now, even though we had a pause, we did have something interesting happen as well. There's this thing called the nominal neutral rate. And normally, this is the rate at where they would like to see our interest rates if everything is going okay. So no inflation, no depressions or recessions or anything like that. So when everything is running normally, this is that rate. So it was set between 2 and 3%, which was what's kind of like their goal to get our interest rate down to eventually. They did raise that. So they raised that rate to 2.25, between 2.25 and 3.25. So it went up basically 2.5% on both ends. Just shows that they don't think we're going to, so that means we're probably not going to see a 2%. Looking at something like that, we're probably going to see maybe a 2.75% on the other side of all of this mess. It could take a while to get there. We're not going to get there overnight by any chance at all. So yeah, basically when you're raising that neutral rate, it indicates that the Bank of Canada basically is expecting interest rates will land at a higher level once they're done cutting, just a little bit higher than they thought before. So that's kind of a negative, but at the same time, it doesn't affect anything right now. It doesn't, you're not going to pay any more for your mortgage right now because the nominal neutral rate went up by a 0.25%. So just one of those things to keep in mind. All right. Paul said, bought some crypto dip yesterday. So far up today on new buys. Nice. So yeah, those of you, of course, who are into buying crypto, yesterday was a fantastic day for that. So you gotta look at it. All right, now where it was? Here we are. Chad said Asian spot ETF early as tomorrow. So yes, that Hong Kong spot Bitcoin ETF is looking to be. It's probably going to happen this week. So we have to take a look and see how that is going to look. All right, now down here we got JJ. JJ has gifted a membership to who won it? G-Marks. So G-Marks won. Congratulations, G-Marks. So there we go. We are one closer to getting a market close tomorrow. So one more, and we got a market close tomorrow. Yep, there we go. JJ, it's like you set us up for that one, but that's cool. That's cool. All right, now where were we at here? Paul says 3 medium pizzas delivered on Friday was $70 or so plus tip. Yikes. Getting out of hand price-wise. No good taking too much of your working hours for restaurants. I know it's getting to the point that, you just can't afford anything. You can't afford restaurants. You're paying so much. The tipping culture has gotten completely out of control. Now I understand, I have full respect for everybody who is in, who is in the services. It's a tough gig. And a lot of times those tips, they make a big difference. But we've gotten to that point where tips are getting so big. The price of food is getting so high. It's just getting to a point where if you raise prices too high, people will just do it a lot less. And that's kind of where we're at when it comes to the whole tipping culture. There was a time during the pandemic that, well, not even during the pandemic, but as we were coming out of the pandemic where, with inflation going crazy on food, it was pretty much, in some cases, it was cheaper to just order food. But it's not quite getting there anymore. So yeah, it's just one of these things. And Paul says, local chain in BC, Papa Leah's Pizza, We picked the wrong week as there were no discount codes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Never, never good. Bonnie's in the house with a hello. Prairie says, do you think tomorrow's potential dip would hold through the week? No, I don't think it will. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's a potential that I think tomorrow, the worst part of it will happen tomorrow. We might have a little bit more on Tuesday, but I think then we may flatten, and then we might start by the end of the week. I'm expecting us to be moving out as people get a little bit less panicky. So let's see. They moved they just moved the goalposts. There we go. Yeah, it works. It works. Chad says, can get the Mama Mia for like $110. That's 10 pounds of pizza. Holy banana bread. All right. And congratulations. G Marks. Once again, thank you, JJ. And here it is. Here it is. JJ, he obviously for the setup. So JJ has just earned you guys a market close tomorrow. You're getting it. It's gonna be fun. No, we'll get to look at that red day that we have tomorrow all together. Oh, it could be fun. Whoo! So yeah, all right. Market close tomorrow. Thank you, JJ. That is fantastic. Awesome. Who won? Who actually won? I have to look at my other screen. Let's see. Allison Parker. Congratulations. There we go. Chad says, JJ rolling in the loot. Miss Moneybags. Ha ha. There we go. Congratulations, Allison. Yay, JJ. King of Day says, new 30-year mortgage amortization for new buyers of newly built houses. I think this will drive up housing prices. What do you think? Yeah, I think it will. There's already a premium on new houses. So I don't like it. And we've actually got this in, I think it's our next story, to be honest. It is. It's actually our next story. Let me just change the banner. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So the Fed basically, what they're doing here is they're rolling out this affordability plan of theirs. So new housing affordability, and these are measures for the first-time home buyers. So there's two basic measures in here. So the first is extending maximum mortgage amortizations to 30 years if it is an insured house. It has to be insured, and it has to be newly built. And you, of course, have to be a first-time home buyer. Now, here's an issue. There is an issue with this. If your house is worth more than $1 million, you may have a very hard time getting it insured. A lot of house insurance don't like to go above $1 million. So that could be a problem. The fact that it's a newly built home means that you're going to be paying premium was it Chad? No, King of Day. As King of Day had mentioned, so you're going to be paying a premium. Now, the other little aspect they put in there as well has to do with your RRSP. So you can now withdraw from an RRSP to buy a first home up to $60,000. So they did increase that a little bit. I don't think this is going to help things. And if you've got a whole bunch of new home buyers trying to get the 30-year deal by passing on the already pre-built, or when I say pre-built as in pre-lived in, all of a sudden that's going to put more pressure on the prices of newly built ones, because more people are going to want those opposed to ones that have already been previously lived in. So yeah, that's going to raise the price. So I think this is a misfire. I understand the liberals are totally trying to fix everything, but this is a misfire for sure. G Mark says no tips for takeout. That's insane. Really? I guess not. Unless they have it built into their price. I don't know. Mary says, hit that like button. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody slam on that like button, turn it blue, let people know that we're here. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to have me some coffee here in my nice little Starbucks mug. Oh, that's good. Oh, and this reminds me, we have next week on Wednesday, no, sorry, Thursday, we have other live stream for the channel members. So the channel members are getting their exclusive live stream. I have I put up a post as to for you guys just to let me know what you want as the main theme for that stream. So if you are a channel member, including those two of you who just became channel members, be sure to throw that in because I'm going to basically pull from that and put up the poll tomorrow so that we can have that topic in place. So that's going to be a good one. I'm loving these. I'm loving these. You guys are coming up with so many great ideas. Prairie says JJ really wants tomorrow's live stream closed. Yes, JJ wanted it. It's like it's like he had already planned. It's like, okay, let's see if I can get Candace to give me that opening. There we go. It was there. It was fired. It was a very well orchestrated move. Chad says cheaper to build your own house and get a bridge loan. Oh, probably. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Or if perhaps if you know how to build your own house, so you don't have to go through contractors, that could save you a ton too. Thigh says BCE now at 12-year low with 9% dividend. Please advise your thoughts. Thank you. Yeah. I recently did a deep dive, like not very long ago, on BCE, and I'm pretty bullish on them. I don't see them going much lower, at least from their own cause. So right now, you take tomorrow. Tomorrow they're going to be very, they're going lower tomorrow. Everything's going lower tomorrow. So, but we're at that really at that bottom. I can't see them going much lower. And the communication sector, it's all of them are being affected at the same time. So this is what I always say. I worry when everybody, if Rogers and Telus were just flying high and Bell was going in the opposite direction, I'd be worried. But when they're all moving together down, I'm fine with that. It just means that this is a better opportunity to get some more cheap stock. They do have a half decent moat, and I do see them as a good buy. So I did add them to the 0 to 100K challenge because I do have some faith that I'm going to get some returns out of Bell. JJ says, now Candace owes us the Asian spot ETF news tomorrow. That should be interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna see if that happens. If that happens, that'll be part of it as well, for sure. And Chad does not like BCE, so he's telling you to stay away from it. So keep in mind. Jerry says crypto is gonna skyrocket after the Bitcoin halving. Yes, but keep in mind. So the halving is it's less than a week away. I think the last update I heard was like was it the 16th? So we're on the verge of the halving. Now, what tends to happen is that in the past, we've always had a little bit of a leg after the halving before we start getting our big movement on Bitcoin. But, and I'll put this out here, this time could actually be different. And usually, and this is the funny thing, a lot of times in investing when somebody says, oh, but it's different this time, it never is. It's always the same. But in this case here, we have the situation where all of these spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US have eaten up so much Bitcoin. There's a literal shortage on exchanges of Bitcoin. They're eating up daily now more Bitcoin than is being produced, and that amount is being cut in half. So this is going to be very interesting. So it's one of these things like, I don't know. Like I was almost thinking, oh, I kind of need more coffee. Here we go. I was almost thinking that it'd be a situation that we'd get to the halving and then we'd have a bit of a price correction, and then it would, over the next month, it would be building back up, and then it would just go crazy. It could happen sooner. It could. So it's one of these situations, I think, to sort of watch and see what happens. Don't anticipate that it's going to do exactly what it's always done. I think it could be a different story this time around. All right. Mary says, what to buy tomorrow? Well, you got to look at, here's the thing. Look at the stocks that you have strong conviction in. And if you get something that's going to pull your price down, that's not a bad situation. So, for example, I love the Hammond stocks. Hammond are probably stocks that might be a good one. And Chad's just saying, get a cash, go into your cash ETF. It's gonna get worse, according to Chad. Or VDY. VDY is, I like VDY. Vanguard, they're a very well run ETF company, so I can never complain about Vanguard. And G Marks is saying VDY is a pretty solid ETF. All right, there we go. Monthly divs. JJ says, I got Brompton split ETF for the cash monthly divides. Pretty solid, 6.2% so far. Not bad. There we go. Yeah, Bromptons. And Prairie saying, the Liberals are just pandering for votes right now, in my opinion. Too little, too late. Yeah, it's, I don't think, if it would take an absolute miracle for the Liberals to win the next election. I think right now, and they have to know this. They have to know that there's no chance. I think at this point, what they're probably doing is just trying to make sure they remain the opposition. And even then, I don't know. We'll have to see how this is all going to boil, how this is all going to turn out. Chad says, get nervous, anything over 5% dividend. Fair enough. Amvas says, you are my number one influencer lately. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. I don't mind. I will try not to let you down. Amvas once again says, banana bread and Starbucks. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. JJ says, petition to get Candace, I was going to say Canada, petition to get Candace rock boosted to at least 10K subs. There we go. Well, the big thing is, at 4,000 subs, we're doing a market open to close. So a full day. That's going to be fun. That will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Now we had a fantastic March. And so far, April's off to a pretty good start too. So if we can keep up that momentum, that it won't take us long to get there. Jay says, I'm buying TELUS 1.5 dividend. There we go. TELUS is good. I mean, both. I like TELUS. I also like Bell. The one that I'm most concerned about in that trio is, of course, Rogers, because they have just all of that debt from acquiring Shaw Communications. So, all right. Whoops. Here we go. Pull this up. There we go. Ambas says, appreciate, what is your top bank ETF? HCAL and HMAX. I'm interested in covered call strategy, especially close to the money, since banks don't move much. Is that the right thinking? Thanks. There's a couple of ways to go. The covered call ones. So I do like HMAX. I've always liked the Hamilton ones. I've had a bit of a affinity for Hamilton. There's also the split core. If you look at the split core bank one, that's not bad either. So yeah, it's hard to say. If I would go, so I'm thinking HMAX or BK. I probably would do both. I would probably sort of, if I was planning, let's say I was planning to spend 5,000, I'd probably put 25 in each. But of course, do your due diligence, take a look, see what works for you, of course. But as we do get into better markets, split cores tend to become better at that point, once we get into more bullish scenarios. So something to keep in mind. JJ says, Starbucks bot. I love the Starbucks bot. I miss the Starbucks bot. It was a fun bot. And it wasn't even about the fact that it was throwing all of this money at me. It was because it was just funny. It turned that live stream into a giant Starbucks commercial with financial stuff all peppered in between. So that was actually kind of fun. Now, Chad likes H-Bank, equal weighted. I can understand that. Like I said, a lot of times I think it comes down to, you see, equal weighting to me is good, but at the same time, if let's say, for example, you're looking at the big six and you do have equal weighting, and one of them, one of the banks is underperforming for a year, that is going to impact that ETF, because where you're sort of forcing yourself that you have to hold an equal weight of that one. So sometimes when you don't have equal weighting and you've got some superstars, you can sort of, maneuver the amount of shares a little bit within the ETF. So that way there, you can get some better performance. We're not talking like much difference, but it's kind of that little, it's almost like splitting hairs, but there is that little bit of a difference. JJ says, let's see, Amvas, are you bullish or bearish on banks? If bullish, no cover calls and go with HCal. If bearish, then HMAX. You'll notice that with the 50% in the money strategy, its capital and NAV is down. There we go. So we got some advice from GAJ. And Chad says, banks will do better when rate cuts come. Yes, absolutely. So let's see. Let's see if we get that June one, but we have more data to come out before then. So I'm still hoping. I'm still hopeful. I would really like, even if it was a situation, this is kind of what I would do, as long as the next CPI doesn't go crazy. If I was the Bank of Canada, I would say, okay, let's do one rate cut in June and we'll hold off on the next rate cut. So we'll do like just a quarter, like a quick little quarter in June, and then hold off until the US starts cutting. So if the US doesn't cut, for example, till October, we'll then give one in June and wait till October to do that second one. That way there, you're going to minimize any impact when it comes to exports, all of that fun stuff. So let's see here. JJ says, also leverage can be dangerous. So I'd go with no leverage if you can't stomach high volatility such as HBank. Yeah, and that's the thing. When you're looking at a stock that's using leverage, one of the things you want to, first of all, you want to know is how much leverage they're using, because that does make a big difference. So if they're using very mild leverage, and some companies do, like Canoe, for example, does use mild leverage in there, but they're perfectly fine. They know what they're doing. Whereas if you want to go to another, let's go to something like an inverse ETF. So something like HOD. So HOD is an inverse oil ETF. So when oil is falling, it's rising. But I think they use 2x leverage. So you're moving twice as fast as you should be up and down. So you can get burnt with one of them, because if you buy it and all of a sudden oil turns around, you can find yourself in the hole really fast. And the problem is, if you sell when you're in the hole, you're just taking a big loss, a really big, much bigger loss than if you were just, if you were just looking at regular stocks. So just something to keep in mind. We got our hashtag Starbucks. There we go. Let's see. Prairie says, I was down with HCal all through 2023. Finally broke even again last week. Yeah, the banks, all of the banks have been doing a lot better. So, we definitely have to take a look. Vineet says, wow, JJ, good on you for donating memberships. Good to see. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. We're almost caught up. JJ says, from a long-term total return historical perspective, BK outperforms HMAX by a long shot, but we can't predict how banks will perform moving forward. So either or could work out and you rebalance later. Exactly. BK, I will give this one credit I'm going to give to BK, is with a split core. A lot of times when the markets are really struggling, like bear markets, some split cores really, really struggle quite a bit. So they employ a lot of return of capital, and sometimes they completely cut dividends. Many of you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, because I know there were a few of you into some of the split cores that all of a sudden cut the dividend, and that's never fun. But BK did not. BK actually performed. They still suffered. They still suffered in the bear market. But they didn't cut. They still maintained. So they have actually done really, really, really good. All right. Gim says, if Canada cuts before the USA, the loonie will tank. If we cut aggressively, definitely 100%. So that's why I was saying if we did a simple quarter cut and then waited for the US, that would have minimal impact. But if we started cutting and did a quarter and a quarter and another quarter and the US hasn't cut yet, then yeah, we're definitely going to tank the loonie in that case there. And we have, what is this? We have a super sticker from Amid, $6.99. That's going into the 0 to 100K challenge. Thank you, Amid. That is fantastic. And it's funny, I have to actually look at the other screen because over here, the one in front of me is just it's the StreamYard one, and it just shows me $6.99 from Emit. It doesn't tell me what it is. I have to look over here to see the number one. I love it. I love it. This is fantastic. Vineet says, or sorry, JJ says, Vineet, I'm excited for the potential crash and burn tomorrow. Yes, it's going to be a fun day. And it's going to be a busy day because I'm filming the next video in the morning. I'll be editing it in the afternoon, and then I'll be streaming with you guys. So this will be fantastic. All right, let's get to the next news story. And that actually ties into that first time buyer story because it's all about the housing crisis is now fixed. That's right. The Liberals have a plan to absolutely fix everything. Holy banana bread. So here's what we go. And guys, you guys know where this is going. Yeah, you guys know where this is going. We cannot trust the government to fix housing at this point in time, but they've got a plan. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. So yeah, they have a plan to fix the housing crisis, but they do need this. They do need the provinces to help too. They said the provinces have to step up with them. So there's a call to action out there. So the Liberals have put out a call to action. So they have not fully unveiled the plan, but there are some highlights that have come out with their new housing plan, the plan to fix the whole situation. So we're going to have to see. Here we go. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to increase the capital cost allowance rate for apartments from 4 to 10%. And this will increase how much builders can write off from their taxes. Okay, fair enough. So you can pay less taxes if you build apartments. Fantastic. Okay, I'm on board with that. They're going to also extend the GST exemption on rentals to student residences built by public universities, colleges, and school authorities. Okay, fine. Once again, now this helps with the students. So yeah, that makes sense because then the students who are coming to study abroad can go into residences. Perfect. Okay, I'm okay with that too. Wow, maybe they've done it. No, they haven't, but we'll see. They're going to earmark more money to tackle homelessness as communities across the country are struggling with encampments and limited shelter spaces. Okay, yeah, absolutely. We need to deal with homelessness. There's, I know there's been tent cities and places I never thought I would ever see a tent city. Like you look at Halifax. I never thought you would have a tent city in downtown Halifax, but they did. And that's just, yeah, it's gotten a little out of, I don't want to call it out of whack, but it's a little out of whack. They want to also top up the Reaching Homes program. So this is a federal homelessness initiative with an additional $1 billion over 4 years. I can never argue with helping out the homeless. That's fine. Perfect. They want another $250 million to allocate to help communities end encampments and transition people into housing. Okay. So here's my question. How can you transition homeless folks into housing when we have no houses? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the full plan, so I have to give them some fairness, but these are nice little, sound bites to use to sort of say, hey, look what we're doing. Look how great we are. But this is not going to fix it. These here, they're, each of them is fine. I've got no problem with them, but they're not going to fix the issue. There's a few things that we need to do to fix the issues. One, build, build, build. Absolutely. We need to build the houses. And, as much as it would hurt our GDP to cut back on immigration, well, we kind of gotta pull it back a little bit. A situation where it's like, if you don't have the houses to put people in, why are you inviting them in? That's kind of the where I'm at this point. It's just like, let's get the houses, build a lot of houses, because I would like to see immigration stay, because we definitely need immigration. We're not, as long as we're not producing 2.1 children per family, then we're not, our fertility rate is down. So we need the immigration, but we need to have houses, because there's nothing worse. If I lived in some country and I wanted to immigrate to Canada and I got here and there's no place to live, I certainly wouldn't have a big opinion of Canada after that. That's for sure. Unless I came from a place perhaps where where perhaps I couldn't have a place to live there either, then it would be like, oh, it's the same. But I don't know. I'm not thinking. I don't think this plan is going to fix the homeless crisis. I think it's a much bigger and a more ambitious problem than what we can sort of fix with just a couple little fixes here or there. It's basically, it's like somebody has walked through a broken glass storm, and you're trying to throw them a few band-aids. Here you go. We'll fix you all up. Yeah. Influencer woman boss. There we go. Gim says the Liberals couldn't plan a picnic. Oh, I don't know. I honestly have never. I don't think I would want to go to a Liberal picnic. But oh well. The housing fix is for everyone to live in tents. Yeah. There we go. That's where we should just take all of our tax money, give us a refund, give everybody a refund enough to buy a tent, and then everyone will have some place, no matter what. Oh dear. Wow, way to contribute to the channel. Yeah, absolutely, Amit. Just going back to that super sticker. You rock. You're like the goat, and it's fun. JJ was the goat, and all of a sudden, Amit comes in and just says, I can up it. You throw a couple memberships. Wait till you see what I'm going to do. Abalash says, do you think it is worth it to buy BK when the preferred BK share have such dividend percentage? Would the preferred shares beat out the BK.TO available on Wealth Simple? Let me see here. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I would... I'd have to look at both of them, to be honest, right now. Like, my head is not there. But I'll look at both of them. I do plan to do a split core video soon. Maybe like very soon, actually, to be honest. I know today I was looking at what video was it today? Yeah, because today I scripted it. Our next list video, which is coming out on Tuesday. And I went with mining companies. So we're going to look at mining companies on Tuesdays, folks. The reason I went with them is just because of where gold has been going, that there's a lot of opportunity, that as there's uncertainty in the economy, in people's feelings about the economy, a lot of people have been hedging their bets with gold, silver, all of that. And you guys are always talking about it. So, yeah, but I do want to do a split core, and I'll take a look at that for that. So, Vineet says, JJ, why crash tomorrow? And Vineet says, I missed the beginning or most of this live, but we'll watch the replay hopefully later. All right. It's all about the Middle East, Vineet. Just in a nutshell, where Israel was attacked by Iran, even though it was kind of a pathetic attack, not like 99.9% of everything they shot didn't make it to its target. It has caused a lot of instability. So we saw a big crash in the price of Bitcoin and most of crypto because, well, they're open 24/7. So we did see that as kind of a highlight to how people were kind of feeling. But we'll have to see whether people can get feeling a little bit better. I have a feeling at least Monday, they're not. It's going to probably take at least a day. So that's kind of where we were looking at. But yeah, if you watch the beginning, we talked a lot about it in the beginning. Let's see. JJ says preferred shares aren't available on Wealthsimple for purchase. That could be one reason right there. Let's see. Liberal smoke and mirrors, liberal pandering, build a lot of affordable houses. Yeah. Jonathan says, I'm willing to contribute 1.1 child to the country. Ooh, nice. Gim says, long on the tent sticks. Or stocks. On the tent stocks. There we go. Long on the tent stocks. When you said tent stick, I was just thinking of the pole that holds the tent up, right? I was like, okay, sure, that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Bismarck, he says, the issue with affordable housing is the land is so expensive. Yes. In the words, I hate to say this, but in the words of Lex Luthor, land is that one thing they're not making any more of. So that's why he has all those land schemes. But anyway, Chad says, all depends on where you're buying that land. Gus says here, hey, Gus, if you have to pick one, what would be your best food royalty holding? PZA, so PZA or A&W. I like them both, but if I can only have one, I would lean to the PZA. And it's just, I don't know if it's just me, but I think people in general love pizza more than burgers. So yeah, I just think for that reason. It might be a silly reason. I think also if you look, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that PZA has probably outperformed A&W, for quite a while. And everybody's seconding the pizza. Jerry says silver is close to the $30 mark per 1 ounce at $28.09 USD. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with the silver, even with Costco, with their gold bars, now they're silver bars, they can't keep the things in stock. Even the silver is going out the door too. And they've also got coins now, so bullion, I guess. You can get a gold Canadian coin and a silver Canadian. You got all these things going on over there. All right, let's get to our next story. So this is kind of a different one. We got some defense spending happening. So that's kind of cool. So one of the things about NATO is if you're a member country in NATO, they expect you to spend 2% of your GDP on defense. Canada has for a very, very, very long time fallen short on that goal, but we are actually getting a little closer with some new defense spending that is on the table. So the Canadian forces, they're receiving $8.1 billion over the next 5 years. And they are predominantly earmarked for cybersecurity and Arctic defense, hence the picture. I thought that was kind of funny, putting a polar bear on a Canadian tank. So the Canadian forces, let's see here. So 917 million are going to go towards bolstering intelligent and cyber operations as Canada's cyber defenses lag due to poor staffing and training. That makes sense. You kind of can't skimp on your cybersecurity nowadays. It's kind of not a good thing to do. Now, meanwhile, of course, Russia is getting they're getting a lot more aggressive. I guess that's the best word for them. And as climate change is opening up northern waterways, the Arctic has been flagged as a newly important risk area. And there's a lot of controversy between Canada and Russia and some of their claims up there as well. So we definitely want to maintain a stronger defense up in the north. Now, what this is all going to do is it's going to put Canada's defense spending all the way up to 1.76% of our GDP. So we're not at the 2%, but NATO did actually come out and say, well, Canada, that is a step in the right direction. We're not entirely happy, but you guys are moving in the right direction. So we'll have to see what happens after that. Now, one issue that we do currently have in the Canadian military is that our recruitment is it's kind of lacking. So we have about 15,000 active slots that are not filled in our military. So there is also some work behind the scenes on recruitment and seeing how they can modernize it to make the Canadian military more of a place people might want to go and work. So that would be kind of cool. All right. And we got more agreement on the pizza. Bismarcky says, Pizza has a location close to every high school in the GTA. Pizza is as a relatively cheap lunch. Yeah, absolutely. I know when I lived in the GTA, yeah, there was like a pizza. There was a lot of pizzas. I will definitely say that. Paul says, Bismarcky, find pizza crust tastes like cardboard. I will say one thing about pizza. I think they go overboard on the salt. I would have a hard time having pizza and not having a lot to drink after that because it dehydrates you. But they're good. I do like them. But yeah, they are a little bit on the salty side when it comes to pizza. So, all right, our next story. Oh, we're almost through the stories. We're almost there. We have, yeah. Okay, guys, nobody likes the dentist. So, but we got a story about the dentist. So the Canadian Dental Plan, it is set to start providing services to seniors in May. Now, a lot of people might, and this was my first impression when I looked into the story. It was like, wait a minute, we've already been providing services to kids. Shouldn't this have already been worked out? Well, they actually used a different system for the kids. So they're coming up with a new system for the adults. They've actually sort of adapted the one that they currently use for Native people. And there's a lot of complaints already about that system. So here's the problem. So the dentists are just not signing up to participate. A lot of them are like, this is crazy. We don't even know how it's working. We don't want all of this. It's a 7-page application process. They're like, no. We don't. Our admin people are already up to their eyeballs in paperwork, and you want to give them a new 7-page form. So they're like, no, we don't. A lot of them are saying no. We just don't want to do it. So in Canada, there's basically roughly 30,500 dentists out there, and according to the government, only a few thousand or so actually signed up. So we don't actually know the exact number because the government won't tell us. They're keeping that to themselves. But as I said, a lot of dentists are concerned over the lack of information coming out of Ottawa, and it's like they're like, we don't understand this, and it's kind of an interesting thing. Now, another issue too is, even though the plan is supposed to be is if you're making under 90,000, if you're making more than 70,000, so if you're making between 70 and 90,000, there's like a huge copay on this. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Now, here's the reality though, and this is where I guess a lot of seniors are getting a little upset. If their dentist does not sign up, they don't get the funding. So that's kind of the way this is working. So it's a situation where if your dentist doesn't sign up and you want to get some of your stuff covered, you kind of have to find a dentist who has signed up. So basically, so far, the dental plan signups and this whole thing is right now, it's looking a little bit like a train wreck. So it's a mess. It is absolutely a mess. Kind of reminds me of when the COVID supports first started. They were a mess. So was this dental plan sign up. I don't know why they just don't do it like, see if you can find a way to do it like as a kind of like the way they do, a lot of the provincial medical things like, OHIP or MSI in Nova Scotia or, whatever they call it in your particular province. So I think this needs to be better thought out. It needs to be simpler. But right now, it's absolutely a mess. And if a lot of dentists aren't even willing to sign up to save their customers some money, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. Oh dear. Okay. Bismarcky says, I don't eat pizza, but I invest in them. There we go. Pizza 73 out in Alberta, owned by Pizza. It sure is. Any other good royalty restaurant stocks like PZA and A&W on the TSX? I like SRV.UN, Sir Royalty. So they own like Jack Astor's and a few others, restaurants like that. And that's a stock that's done really well, though. Right now they're at a good buying position. They have been down a little bit, but I do like them. And yeah, the Keg has a royalty stock as well. Absolutely. I love pizzas, Panzeratis. There we go. So, will this be if the dentist doesn't opt in, you pay the dentist and hopefully government plan covers a good part of it? No. My understanding right now, the way they currently have it set up, if your dentist doesn't opt in, you are paying full price and you're not getting it back. So they don't seem to have anything set up this way. So you pretty much, in this case, unless this changes between now and May, in this case here, it's a situation where you probably are going to have to switch dentists to get somebody who has it. And this is the funny thing. What this could do is it could make it where the dentists who do offer it all of a sudden won't have any room to bring you in, and it could create big waiting lists. So hopefully the government simplifies this and gets some more dentists on board, because right now it's not, it's a bit of a train wreck. Yeah, exactly. So the dental plan is the Liberals appeasing the NDP to keep them in power. Absolutely. Now, I think a dental plan is a good idea. I'm on board for that 100%, but it needs to be honestly what they should have done with the dental plan is not made it a federal plan, but made it sort of made it provincial. So talk to the province and say, okay, here is we will provide you with the transfer payments for this dental plan, and let's get it added, maybe added to your normal health. That would be the simple, easy way to do it. But keep in mind, that means you have to get all the provinces on board. But when you start saying, okay, well, we're going to pay for it, but we're just doing it through the transfer payments, maybe that would work. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a politician, but I just think you need to make it into something that people can use, something that is easy. Not something where you need to come in and apply and fill out 7 pages of paperwork and hope that you have a dentist, first of all, that's willing to do all of that. So, because having it as an opt-in, or that's kind of crazy. If you're offering a dental plan, so for seniors at this point, and pretty soon it's going to go to everybody else. So when that comes in at that point, you want to get all your ducks in a row. Right now, there's ducks everywhere. I think there's a duck under my desk. I mean, that's how far apart these ducks are right now. It's not good. All right. Prairie says BPF.UN. So Boston Pizza. Yeah. Yeah. Now FRU. So they're actually a oil and gas royalties. And they're probably doing really well right now with oil coming up. So yeah, but yeah, I do like FRU. FRU is cool. Paul says, funny that we are too cheap paying $300 to the dentist, but we will go out to buy a $300 power washer if your old one breaks. Yeah, that's kind of true. It's kind of true. I think part of it too is nobody really likes the dentist. It's like, oh, we'll give you this shot so that it doesn't hurt, but the shot hurts. like it's bad. It's really bad. But oh well. Maybe some people like it. I don't know. All right. We have one last big news story, and it is AI investment. So, in the upcoming federal budget, which of course we pretty much know everything that's in the thing anyway. There's not a lot of surprises here. They're looking to put $2.4 billion for AI investment. So they're setting aside $2.4 billion. $2 billion will go into a fund that will pay for the computing infrastructure researchers and businesses needed to run AI systems to try to bring up businesses towards AI. And this is good because AI will help with Canadian productivity, which is right now one of the big concerns the Bank of Canada has. So the rest of that money is then going to be split between programs to help businesses adopt AI skill training for workers, in sectors that are disrupted by the tech, and a new Canadian AI Safety Institute to study the risks of AI. So, we're trying to at least the government is trying to move a little bit in that direction. So that probably means things like the CRA will start using AI in 2112, something like that. I just remember for the longest time, like we had recent changes to like some of the CRA stuff, but I could have sworn, like even 5 years ago, I would have sworn that the CRA was run on Windows 95, because it was just the way everything worked. So yeah, AI, here it comes again. Yeah, I mean, what are you guys thinking of AI? Are you guys using it? Like, I use it for these pictures, so it's actually funny. I'll tell you the funny story about this picture right here. When I asked AI, let me have my cup of coffee first. When I asked AI to make this picture, I said I wanted a Canadian worker, um, you know, handshaking with an AI robot. And it gave me two robots, one of them Canadian and the other just a regular robot. And I'm like, whoa, you're being a little progressive. So I had to refine that a little bit just to get what we were looking at. So kind of funny that way. Now, well, we'll get the crypto stuff out of the way too here. Whoops, there we go. Bring up the little crypto guy. So there was a new survey involving crypto, and it has shown that younger Americans, and it was an American survey, that they are more likely to own crypto over stocks and real estate. So 1 in 5 Americans under 42 currently owns crypto. 21% of millennials and Gen Z surveyed own crypto, which is nearly equivalent to the 20% who owned real estate. Understandable, real estate's kind of out of reach compared to crypto. But Gen Z is more open to owning crypto over stocks, with only 18% of that generation owning stocks. So they're a little bit heavier diversified on the crypto side. But I thought that was kind of interesting. It's kind of the way the world is changing. Now, as the boomers disappear and the next group of seniors will be the Gen Xers, and then they'll disappear. I imagine by the time millennials are, up in the senior citizen age, crypto will be just as normal as regular currency. I think it's getting in that direction. So that is kind of funny. All right. Paul says, why does the CRA on April 11th tell you you will get your refund, but the actual deposit date is further in the future? That's kind of interesting. I've never really, I assume we're talking about with your tax return. It might just be that they probably, my best guess, and this is a guess, I'm not going to say because I don't know, I don't work for the CRA, but my best guess is they probably batch these out, the refunds. So even though you may be April 11th, perhaps I'll just pick a date, say April 15th, they're doing a batch, or April, probably 15th or 16th or something. I'm thinking it's probably batch related. And let's see. Jonathan says, I'm a programmer and I work with AI to come up with ideas and evaluate my code. But every day I give it the side eye, knowing it plans to replace me. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And some of the next version, I think the next version of ChatGPT is supposed to be even much better with coding. But here's the thing, as coder, and I've done some code. I think probably the most complicated thing I ever did was a back end website for HP, and it was in ASP. Yeah, it was fun, but a lot of times, like I know that I think there was at least one day where I probably spent 4 hours debugging this code, and all it was a missing semicolon. And it took me 4 hours to find it. Whereas nowadays, you could drop that in and ChatGPT could probably find it for you like in a second. So, that's and that's all about the productivity, right? If you're doing things much faster because AI is doing a bunch of that, a bunch of the tedious stuff for you, then you're in good shape. You're in good shape. All of a sudden, you're getting much more work done with no real extra effort for you because, the AI is doing a lot of that for you. But that overall increases the productivity. And that's kind of the thing that they want to see. Paul says millennials will be working to 85 with no DB pensions, and even with DC pension will not be as good. Yeah, millennials. Well, here's the thing, though. let's make that even worse. There's a lot of work on on aging, and how can we slow it down? What can we do? Once we start utilizing AI on that problem, the millennials might be that group that live to 120 and have to work till 120. Um, it may the world is crazy now. It could get crazier. So, so poor JJ. JJ, you may be working till you're 120. But my goal is to live long enough to get to that point where we can just turn aging off, and I'm even okay somewhere down the road. Having most of myself replaced by like robotic parts. It's like, okay, why not? As long as I can keep doing what I'm doing. So, oh, well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's fun to sort of speculate where this is all going. That's for sure. Abalash says, if I owe the CRA money, do they automatically take it from my linked bank account, or do I have to pay it manually? You pay it manually. Unless you, of course, negotiate. I think there's a way you can turn on auto pay or something like that. But no, you will pay them manually if you owe them money. But what they will do is if you have any kind of other returns while you owe them money, they will take those. So, for example, GST, they'll take that, or they should take that. They'll definitely take future income tax returns. But I just recall, I think I owed at one point and I still got my GST, and I thought that was odd. So double check on the GST, but yeah. But yeah, you pay manually. Paul owes the CRA. JJ says, ooh, nah, screw that. I'm retiring overseas by 40. There we go. There we go. Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. This second, Paul, I'll get to you in a second. We'll go back to JJ. If you're doing something you actually like to do, like whether it's a side hustle or something like that, and the technology gets there that you can take, like, let's say you can take a pill every week, like maybe once a week you take a pill and it keeps you young, and you keep, you can function fine, then, you might want to work, because, if you're not working, I imagine it would get pretty boring after a bit of time. And that's why, a lot of people who do retire, a lot of times they actually, now, not so much now, because now people just need money because the world is so, really expensive. But in the olden days, a lot of times seniors would go and get part-time jobs, not because they needed money, but because they were bored out of their skulls. So just something to keep in mind. Now, Paul says, I sold someone a toilet and orbital sander at work on Saturday, then helped the guy put the toilet in the back seat of his car. Whoa, that's kind of funny. Were you a little flushed after that? Just asking. Oh dear, that was a bad joke, but I had to do it. I had to. JJ says, Avalash, you can either pay as installments through my CRA account or pay all at once by adding CRA as a bill payee. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. It's one of those. It's funny because, if the CRA owes you money and you don't do your taxes, they're not on your case about it. It's just when you owe them money, it's like, uh-oh. So it's one of those things. It's always best to pay your taxes, or at least have a plan to pay your taxes. Yeah, exactly. So a good old thank you there. Awesome. All right, now give me a second here. I'm going to, because we're finished with the new stuff. So let's get rid of that. Well, bring me back. There we go. There we go. I was like, it's like, what did you do, Candace? Did you just throw yourself out of the chat? I guess I did briefly, but there we go. Back to the full size as we, as we finish this out. So, anyway, throw your stuff in. While you guys are coming up with some more questions and stuff, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to take a look here at Bitcoin, and give me a second here. I am going to share. All right, let's pull this all up right here. There we go. Share, and I'm going to put me down here. There we go. All right, here we go. Perfect. So this here, this here is Israel. This here is Israel getting attacked by Iran right here. So as you can see, we were sitting at about 67,000. We dropped all the way down to 61,000. Now we've recovered a little bit, and we're just consolidating, moving forward here. So interesting thing is, let's just do it. I'll count it from about here. All right, let's bring this in here. And we'll bring another one in over here. All right, there we go. So yeah, we got a little bit of a pattern here. So, I don't see us breaking to the downside from this one. So when we do break, I think we'll go back up. So just give me a second here. There we go. So I think we'll probably break out of here sometime on Monday. It'll basically just take us back up to 67. So I think we will see recovery on Bitcoin, unless, of course, like I said, if we get some more of these, escalations that happen. So we'll have to see the way. Here's the thing. Israel has said, yes, we're going to retaliate. So this is where they have to be really, really smart about it. I think they need to have a strong retaliation, but on the light side. So it's kind of like, you're trying to look strong, but you're also trying to take it easy on them because you don't want the whole thing to blow up. It's more or less you just want to have a retaliation for show. I think that's what you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see, it's not going to be like a big massive attack or anything like that. It's going to be more of a for show, just to say, hey, we had to do it. And then it goes back into Iran's court. And at that point, the fact that they did their first attack was kind of weak. They kind of had to know it wasn't going to get through the dome. That's going to, it's going to be interesting, I think. It's going to be very, very interesting. Now, there was something I wanted to show you guys as well here. So when we're talking about oil, and I have to go over to the 0 to 100K. Look at this, my poor challenge. Everything is, well, not everything, but a lot of things are in the red. But yeah, look at this. So all of the fears and stuff on Friday certainly impacted CNQ, so Canadian Natural Resources. But look at the buildup that oil has had, like quite literally. Let's see if I can narrow this down a bit more. But look at this, pretty much. This has just been up, 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 up. It's just incredible. Now I'm looking at it on the 1 hour. Let's, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to do 1 day. All right, here we go. There we go. There you go. Now you can sort of get a better idea. So you can sort of see like oil since about February. So from about February to now, look at this, just amazing. So, those of you who jumped in on CNQ back then, you guys have done absolutely fantastic. So that's just a quick little thing on that, just to sort of show you guys. Oh, you know what? I kind of want to do this now, just to see here. Let me take a look here and see if I have it here. I think this is it here. There we go. Yeah. So this here, is that stock heat map from Friday. And I just wanted to take a look. This is going to look probably even more red tomorrow. But you can sort of see the fear just on Friday alone. You can see things just dropping. For Vic, I think Vic is driving now, but here's his CSU. He's finally getting his entry point at 35.81. So kind of funny. And the same idea here. Here's the US. But we can actually right now see the crypto one. And it doesn't look that bad because it's already coming back. So this is just for today. So yesterday, this was all red as everything was just plunging. But everything's starting to come back. Bitcoin's still down a little bit, but Solano, and we'll pull up Solano, and you can sort of see this was yesterday. There's that big drop, and they've already started coming back, and everybody has. So it was right across. That was pretty much everybody in crypto that got hurt. I don't think anybody really didn't. Look at Dogecoin. It's still falling. Good old Dogecoin. That's because I guess Elon hasn't come to the rescue yet. So, oh well, we'll have to sort of see. All right. Anyway, let's pull this back away here. Ian says, my foreman started buying stocks. I showed him your channel. He calls you the mountain lady. Up in the mountains. I'm like that guru, right? You climb up you head to Nepal, you climb up, and I'm like just sitting there in this little shack. And I got special tea or coffee. But cool. That's cool. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Jerry says Bitcoin showing a 300-foot drop like Niagara Falls. There we go. Yes. Poor investors inside the barrel as they went over that yesterday. It's like, sort of trying to hang on for dear life. Holy cow. Chad says, Jerry, it only dropped 27%. Historically, it's 39%. Just weak hands are selling to BlackRock. There we go. There we go. I'm not super concerned. The only thing that really sucked for me is that I wish I had been out. I had left myself in a trade on the weekend on BTCC.B. And I was like, oh, man, if I had stayed out of it and bought back in Monday, that would have been nice. It doesn't really matter. I mean, to me, because I play it by the number that I have, opposed to the actual dollar value, but it would have been nice to have gotten in lower, because then that would have it just would have been really nice. But oh well. I'll be watching that market tomorrow morning, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow afternoon, because JJ bought, I guess we'll say bought. JJ earned you guys a market close. I'm so glad he did, because I really honestly, even if he hadn't, I would have been very tempted to do one anyway, just because of the type of day it's going to be. So, I think that's going to be kind of cool. All right. So coming up on the channel, and oops, give me a second here. I will bring this back up. There we go. And let me, I always, for some reason, I have my Discord on the other one, but I'm going to bring it over here. There we go. All right, here's our Discord, and let's come over to our schedule. So you guys can see the schedule over on Discord. Always fun. So, and you see, here's cool. I can just edit it really quickly. So here's this live stream that we're doing right now. So it's pretty much done. So I'll just get rid of it. So yeah, we got this video here tomorrow. It's mining stocks. Just put that in there. There we go. We got look at this. Look at this here. Give me a second here. Let me add this in, because JJ, fuddle sticks. It's, if I hit enter, it saves it. So I have to hit option enter. And there we go. And we're going to put that in, and there we go. April 15th. There we go. Market close. And I'm going to call it thanks, JJ. There we go. There we go. So we got mining stocks coming out on the 16th. We got a market close tomorrow. So want to be here for that. Market close on Wednesday. Thursday, channel members live stream. Then we'll have a deep dive on the 19th. I actually have to put that up for vote. Like, I got to do that tomorrow too. So we'll get that up as well. So we can get that going. Yeah, look at this. We're winding down into the end of the month. So this is fantastic. All right, all right, we'll get rid of that there. I just wanted to show you guys that for the moment, all that fun stuff. JJ, it's like, I'm still top dog. Screw you, Amir. Oh, no, Amir, you rock. Amir, you are the GOAT. You are the GOAT. Yeah, and JJ's just kidding, but still funny. Funny, funny, funny. And here's Paul. Paul in with a $1.49 super sticker. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. More Google opinions. So Paul does the Google opinions, so that's kind of cool. I actually wanted to look into that and sign up for it just because I want to see what they're asking, because I think that would be kind of fun. All right. So anyway, everybody, I think this is it for today. This has been a great stream as usual. You guys have all rocked. We're going to be back here tomorrow, which is so fantastic. We'll do this we're going to do it a little bit different. Tomorrow's the market close. You guys will get to hear our good old Belle, which is sitting here. Oh, I also have something else sitting here. This is going to be weird. I got a worm. This here is for the cat toys, because the kitten loves to play with the worms. So they're her favorite. I'd rather her play with a worm than actually get a worm. Anyway, just we'll leave that be, because that was very corny. All right, everybody. It's been great. You guys have been awesome. You guys are the real rock stars. I'm just here to help you along the way. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow.